Well, on DIY day 14, we're working on the hinges, the back hinges for the sedan, Model A sedan. So you fit them in here. You got them all parallel, right?
Yep.
Are you marking holes? Okay, you mark, what is this? Way out here. So in there, so you're marking holes here. How are you getting them marked? Based on this, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Marking my holes in the door, putting the door in there, and then marking through the door to get the holes on the hinges where I need them.
Okay. I'm just getting here. So I'm just trying to catch up where you're at. So these aren't drilled, they're just marked.
Yep.
This one's drilled. We need to make sure we countersink it. So if these screws are countersunk in there, where's our door? Right here. Okay, I see what you did now. Okay, that'll work. So we got the door, got the holes drilled, except we don't bolt those in. We need to put a piece of wood in this area right here. We're gonna put wood all the way around this door and bond it in.
Okay.
So that's kind of the next thing to do. But next thing to do is put door toppers in. I was gonna do it this weekend, but I had some other projects going on. So let's show them how to do door tops. So on the Model A, the window goes in through the top of the door. We make these 90-degree fiberglass pieces. I used to have a reproduction of the original part that goes on top of the door where the channel goes in, but these seem to work out better. So once we set it up here, we want to get this to be the right shape to match the top of the door. So let me mark that real quick. So measure twice and cut once is a good philosophy. So I've made a rough line. I'm going to cut it, set it up there, see what we got, and then we will just gradually fit it in there the way it goes. All right, so that's not too bad for a first guess. So we're going to go ahead and trim now. You can kind of see right here where it needs to notch in. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it there, get it a little bit better. So a little bit of trimming. You can see I got my part now. So that'll screw down straight from the top. We need to have an aluminum channel in there. So I've got me an aluminum channel cut. You can see it's going to fit between here and here. So what we need to do next is bond this channel into my cap. So what we'll do is we'll sand all this, put a little Bondo on the bottom side of it, hold it all up there together while it bonds, and it can dry real quick, especially on a day like today. And then we have our window top, and then we'll go ahead and put the window track or the window felt all the way around it. And once the window's in the car, that just goes on top of the window, screws in, and voila, all done. So I went to get a little bit of resin to build this part. We're going to show you how to build that. But while I was gone, we got this glued in. You can kind of see it sits in here. Got that in there. So you're mixing up some more. So you're going to fill the gap here.
Yep.
Going to fill this gap and do the body work in there. All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to do some one-handed mixing here. So we got some resin in here. I've already cut my fiberglass to fit my mold, which is nothing but a channel. What I'm wanting to do with the activator catalyst here is 1.5%, which is about 3/4 of a shot glass per quart, or in this case about that much, which is going to be a little bit extra, but it'll be fine. So I want to just get that mixed thoroughly, put a little bit up in here. As you can see, I've got it waxed good, so it's not even sticking to that very well. Put my piece in, put it down. I mean, I probably would want to wear gloves if I was going to think about it, but I'm in a big hurry. So I'm going to get it all wetted down, and all the air needs to be out. I mean, so you can kind of see in here where you got air. I want that air all gone. So we'll get that, and then put the next piece in. All right, so I put 2 layers in there. Let that kick. There's a red dye in the activator that actually goes away when it gets hard and turns kind of green again. So this is what we've created. And from this to this to this. So you're going to sand that, clean it up. That's the door popper. And the driver will be here tomorrow to take this one to Sacramento. This belongs to Kurt. I believe this is Kurt's. Let me make sure. Yeah, Kurt is going to have his Model A 3031 on the way to Sacramento. All right, so I've gone over this with Daryl this morning. He doesn't need a lot of my DIY, but we had some issues that we had to go through, make sure everything works, everything's fitting. This isn't the front end that's going to go on it. We've got it's going to be a complete chrome front end, but we're using this one to mock everything up, getting it done. One thing I didn't think about is the weight of this motor, so we had to special order a Posey spring. We got enough weight on that that we needed to have a spring that was a little more significant. So we're getting this mocked up. Kind of got a motor mount in the way. So what we're going to have to do is weld the nut on the back side of the tube, put the tube in there and do it that way, but I need to get a fine thread bolt because the chrome bolts are fine thread. But that'll get welded with the sleeve into there. And again, these are going to be chrome. But, there it is. I had some comments on the upside down water or oil filter. We'll address that tomorrow when Tim is here. So Tim will be here tomorrow. Kind of exciting. So I'm doing a quick DIY on one of my least favorite things. I'm cutting glass. But this is glass that goes into a Model A. This is safety glass. You can kind of see in between there. What there is there's plastic in between the two sheets of glass. And what you got to do is you got to cut both sides on top of each other and then break it carefully on both sides and then cut through that plastic. I'm not going to cut my real line one-handed, but you keep an even pressure on the glass cutting tool, and it's all about the sound. Kind of like welding. So you want an even line. You want to, if you hear that sound like that, that's a good sound to have. So I've cut my line on both sides. A couple tools that are handy to have. This is you can see it kind of bees on top at the bottom, and when you push it, if you put it right on the line, you're going to be able to crack this to start running the line. I put tape on it to kind of soften it up so I don't get a break where I don't want it. Also, a pair of channel locks works good. Again, I tape it up, just maybe to bend it. And you can kind of see that I've got it loose now. I think you can see in there how I'm bending it a little bit. Now a lot of people will take and put some maybe acetone on there or alcohol and burn that, but I just use a heat gun. So you're hearing the whir, but this is actually melting it and cutting it, and you can kind of see it'll take it right off that way. That worked out pretty well. So I'm going to spare you the noise, but once you get the glass cut, you definitely need to sand it. So this is a belt sander with the water underneath. So water's going to come up through here. So once I get the sand in, it's going to keep it wet. And I'll just sand the edges nice, keep it rounded. This one doesn't have too much, but you can kind of see I got a little bit of, I call them clamshells on the edges, but we want the edges to be real clean. So that's how we cut glass. When you cut a windshield where it's got curves, a little trickier, you gotta be a little careful, but thank goodness we are no longer doing glass in-house, but we're having it done over at Mountain Home Glass. I just don't have time, and I'm the only one cutting glass here, so that's one thing off of my plate. So I cut glass through that door over there, and I come right into Eddie's area where we're making all kinds of noise here. You got another one of them custom door handles, it looks like.
Yeah.
So you've been making, this is all from Mike's car. His leather got shipped today.
Oh, did it? Okay, good.
Leather is on the way.
Alrighty.
So you've been trimming up parts.
And I got the door panels pretty much.
One thing we got on the door panel, you got a door panel off to show them what you're doing here? Is that one of them?
Yeah, that's one of it.
So where the hinges, oh yeah, you got it on there. Where the hinges are, you kind of raise it up a little bit. So
Yeah,
that
so you
hinge
ain't
will
got a
slide
big
in there.
gap when it-
And that way you won't see a gap when it goes over the hinge. This one kind of stuck on there, but you can kind of see how the hinge is on the outside a little bit. So we've got those all made. We're just waiting on some leather and Tim to get here tomorrow. You want to cut Tim's column in the morning?
I can.
So you'll be here way before me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you have doctor's hours.
See, I got DIY hours.
Yeah, something like that.
But
Yeah, see, I got this.
when you put Eddie on it and say, hey, can you do that tomorrow? I don't have to DIY it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's trimmed down.
Yeah.
So that'll fit in
And
there
be
good.
covered. Yep.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, let me go check on Nathan. I'm gonna put air conditioning in here. You want some air conditioning?
Well, sure, but you've been promising that for about 10 years now.
Well, here, outside your door, we should have. I heard the chainsaw going. Oh,
Yeah.
we got some dirt and some. Oh, we got a lot more cutting to do.
Oh yeah, look at that. Took the only shade I had.
When we get all that gone, then we're gonna put the air conditioner there.
That'll work.
All right, well the boys are working. I'm gonna go run to town, do some more of my DIY stuff, but I'm glad I'm not doing that myself.